This is He Knows the Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, Devin Haney versus Gervonta Davis. That's the great debate. Let me say it again. Devin Haney versus Gervonta Davis is the great debate, or so we think it is. Listen, this last weekend, we just saw Devin Haney versus Alfredo Santiago. And like I told people, Devin Haney is a bit too green. Let me say it again. Devin Haney is a bit too green. He showed his cards. What he shows is a fighter that likes to be on his bicycle a lot. And he also shows a fighter that not only likes to be on his bicycle a lot, but he's always looking for that predictable, choppy overhand right. You can't be doing that against Gervonta Davis. He's too smart, he's too athletic, and he's too explosive for that stuff. Let me say it again. He's too smart, he's too athletic, and he's too explosive for that stuff. You have to account for what, Gervonta Davis brings to the table. He's an anomaly, he's an enigma, because I told you guys, man, he has the Roy Jones Jr. athleticism met with Mike Tyson power. Now, I know folks are like, man, Gervonta Davis, he ain't fought nobody. Mayweather Promotions, they're protecting him. Mayweather Promotions are gifting him. Mayweather Promotions are running him away from Lomachenko. They're treating Lomachenko supposedly, like he's a spiritual figurehead. That's nonsense, folks. Tank is not running from no Loma. Because last time I checked, and see, this is where people are not giving you the full side of the story. Last time I checked, Loma said he was going to go down to 130 pounds to fight Tank. What happened with that? This was prior to the Luke Campbell fight. Y'all go back and listen to all of the interviews that was done with Lomachenko and Bob Arum. Loma out of his mouth said, I'm willing to go down to 130. Matter of fact, look at Tank. I'm willing to go down to 130 to fight you. And I will go down to 130 after this fight to fight you, because he was feeling himself off of that pound for pound number one status. And what ended up happening after the fact? He got exposed against Luke Campbell, and then he pulled it back. Let me say it again. He got exposed by Luke Campbell, and he pulled it back. He acted like he didn't even say that. Then when Tank said, hey, what happened to you coming down to 130? In the press conference right at the end of the fight, he acted like he didn't even say that. Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about. That's called talking too sideways out of your mouth. Let me say it again. It's called talking too sideways out of your mouth. This is what Vasily Lomachenko did, folks. That's the truth and the fact of the matter. Then Tank Davis runs up to 135. If Tank Davis was giving any impression that he was ducking, he would have stayed at 130. And I would have started to call him out on that. Let me say it again. If Tank was giving any impression that he was dunking, he would have stayed at 130, and I was going to be able to be the one to call him out. People forget that he was robbed of the Abner Maris fight. Oh, Abner Maris was 122-pounder, 126-pounder. He ran his rabbit ass up to fight Tank. Tank did call for that fight. And look, Abner Maris is running his rabbit ass up to try to fight Tank again. That was going to be a good quality fight for Tank. I don't care what anybody tell me. But Abner Maris pulled out on the last leg because he supposedly had a retina issue. Wait, which one was it? Was it retina? Or was it what Robert Garcia said, elbow? I don't remember, man. All I remember is there was just so many different types of injuries. Kind of like Tony Harrison with Jamel Charlo. It's just so many last minute injuries. You don't know what's associated with what. But you got the haters and the trolls out there on witness protection and AWOL status giving you all kinds of nonsense about or justifications as to why this happened or why that supposedly happened. Nonsense, folks. Nonsense. Abner Maris pulled out, and then Gervonta Davis had to fight the step-in fighter that was in front of him at that time. Not his fault, man. It's not his freaking fault that he had to do that, because he had to do it. Then people are accusing Gervonta Davis, oh, he's just fighting low-level competition. He's just fighting buff. What happened after his last fight? Y'all tell me, against Ricardo Nunez. Because prior to that, he fought Hugo Ruiz, right? What happened after the Ricardo Nunez fight? He called out Tank Farmar. No, I'm saying Tank. He called out Tevin Farmar. And when he called out Tevin Farmar, what happened? There was a dispute. Whether you guys want to say it or not, the fight was actually in negotiations to happen. Tank doesn't get credit for it. We know that $2 million in pay-per-view money with money on the back end has a more rich history and a long tenured history than some $5 million on the zone. Come on, man. The fight was supposed to happen. It got negotiated. Does Tank Davis get credit for that? Because that was the super fight at 130, right? You see what I'm talking about? But then he ran up to 135, which is what is customary, boxing 101, that fighters normally do. When they run up into a weight class, they want to get assimilated to the weight class. So they fight the first opponent that is available that is going to allow them to assimilate to the weight class. When it's a fighter that you love, you don't mind when they do that, right? But when it's Gervonta Tank Davis or Earl Spence or Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder's always been at heavyweight. But let's just say if he wasn't at heavyweight, because of the level of criticisms that he gets, right? If he was moving up from weight class to weight class to weight class, right? You guys would have said the same fucking shit about him too. And it's a person that they don't like, the Charlos. Notice, what do all of them have in connection? They're PBC fighters. They can't stand these PBC fighters, man. This man ran up to 135. He needs to get an assimilation fight against Gamboa. Allow him that. Now, after the Gamboa fight, if he's still running this cockamamie nonsense that he's going to fight this guy or that guy and he's not stepping up the competition, then he knows the sport's going to start his criticism of Gervonta Tank Davis. But so far, Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't deserve any level of criticism because he's doing everything that he's supposed to at this point. And this Gamboa fight, it's not going to be as easy as people think it is. Because Gervonta Tank Davis is fighting a fighter that still got some crack in him. Because remember, in boxing, the last thing that goes is your power. Last time I checked, Gamboa has power. And Gamboa's on his last leg. The most dangerous fighters sometimes are these fighters that are on their last leg. Just look at the Nonito Donaire fight versus Naoya Inoue. Donaire's on his last leg. But look at the fight he gave Naoya Inoue. Same fucking shit with Gamboa, man. You can't count a motherfucker out just because of age. Age is nothing but a what? A number, like the great Deontay Wilder said. Age is nothing but what? A number, like the great Deontay Wilder said. So allow this fight to happen and come into fruition December 28th, and let's see how it's going to pan out. I still believe that Gervonta Tank Davis stops his ass late. He's going to stop Gamboa late, but it's going to take him some time to figure him out because last time I checked, not only does Gamboa have power, he has a Cuban background pedigree. He has a rich amateur background pedigree, and he can box. So this is a good test for Gervonta Tank Davis to see where he's at in his assimilation process of 135. And then after that fight, if he's not stepping up the competition, then the criticisms are justified. But allow the man to assimilate to the weight class. That's boxing 101, folks. It's really that simple. This is He Knows the Sport. Check it out.